Picture this, 25,000 people, representing 160 plus countries, all converging in a single venue to ask the same question. Where is crypto headed next? That was the scene at TOKEN2049, Singapore 2025. Over the next few minutes, I'll take you on a rapid-fire tour of the most compelling signals from that event, the tectonic shifts, the under-the-radar trends, and the bold bets being placed. By the end, you'll see how crypto is evolving and where you might find opportunity. 1. From speculation to infrastructure. A major theme, crypto is no longer just wild price swings and viral memes. At TOKEN2049, industry leaders talked about building layers beneath the hype. For example, lots of focus on L2 scaling, an infrastructure that can support mass usage rather than just traders. The shift, TradFi, traditional finance, becoming a customer of DeFi, decentralized finance, not the other way around. Tokenization of real-world assets, RWAs, real estate, fine watches, bonds, being enabled on-chain, unlocking new kinds of liquidity. Why this matters? When the infrastructure matures, when real-world assets move on-chain, crypto stops being a niche. It becomes part of broader finance. That means bigger markets, more regulation, and more durability. 2. Institutional adoption and regulation. Another clear signal, big money and big regulation are showing up. At TOKEN2049, institutional players, asset managers, exchanges, regulators and frameworks repeatedly popped up. The question is less if crypto will be regulated, more how. With that comes both risk and legitimacy. When big institutions adopt, volumes rise. When regulation comes in, some of the wildest behaviors may quiet down. Why this matters? If you're building for the future, you need to plan for a world where crypto is treated like mainstream finance, which changes the rules. For investors, this could mean more stability, but also more competition and oversight. 3. Real-world use cases and utility. At TOKEN2049, the conversation shifted from "what can we do with crypto?" to "what will crypto do for everyday life?" Payment infrastructure advancements, apps, on-chain payments, bridging asset classes, real-world assets on-chain. Tokenized versions of tangible assets allow global access and fractional ownership. A stronger emphasis on utility over hype, building apps, platforms, services that people will actually use. Why this matters? Utility drives adoption. When tokens, chains and apps deliver something meaningful, not just "trade me for a gain," you unlock a broader user base, which means scale, and with scale, value. 4. The cultural and global shift. Crypto is no longer just Silicon Valley. TOKEN2049's global footprint underscored this. The Singapore edition, 25,000 attendees. Multi-floor venue, global companies exhibited. Dubai edition, 15,000 attendees, 150 plus countries. Themes touched on cultural integration, sports stars, entertainment, even wellness zones, showing that crypto's story is branching into global culture. Why this matters? When an industry goes global and cultural, it becomes less fringe. It becomes woven into how people live, work, and interact. That opens the door to mass adoption, which changes the scale and the stakes. 5. 2 big questions to ask. Now that we've seen what TOKEN2049 revealed, let's turn to the 2 biggest questions every crypto observer should ask. 1. Who wins infrastructure? Which chains, roll-ups, platforms capture the next wave of real-world applications? 2. How will regulation shape adoption? Will regulation enable crypto's growth by legitimizing it, or hamper it by limiting innovation? Your edge might come from having an answer, or positioning ahead of them. 6. What you should do next. Here are 3 prompts for action. Look at which projects are enabling L2 scaling plus tokenization of real-world assets. Monitor which jurisdictions and regulations are upcoming. Be early. Think about utility over hype. What crypto products are actually solving everyday problems? In short, TOKEN2049 didn't just show off flashy launches and meetups. It revealed a crypto industry maturing, expanding in scale, and turning towards real-world integration. If you're paying attention, this is where the future is being built. So I'll leave you with this. Ask not just what coin will moon next, but what infrastructure, what utility, what regulation will allow crypto to matter to billions rather than millions. The answers to that question could mark the difference between the next boom and the next mainstream. Thanks for listening. If you're excited about one of these trends, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Which one stood out for you? And I can walk you through it more deeply.